Anyway, like, I was just dancing.
Okay.
Oh no, it worked. Shit.
Hi. Okay, so I am going to show you how to make sourdough bread. Okay, so what I have here is, we have our mixing bowl. I like glass because you can see through it, so when it's rising you can see what's happening. And then we have our kitchen scale. Okay, I have it balanced 2 grams and to 0. First thing we're going to put in is 730 grams of water, not sink water. It has to be purified water or bottled water, just not sink water. The chlorine in tap water will kill your sourdough starter and it won't work. So we need 730 grams. So that's 742. I'm going to scoop out a hair of water.
I thought you were an object. I went to this diner.
It doesn't have to be like perfect exact, but as good as you can get it. So there's 730 water. So now we're going to 0 it out again. And now we're going to put 200 grams of sourdough starter. Here is some happy sourdough starter. Okay. Open this guy up. It should be nice and bubbly and nice and ripe smelling. And it will float somewhat.
John called me the next morning, like, dude, like, where were you last night? I was like, I was there. He was like, oh yeah.
So it's not as big of a deal if you go over 200 grams.
I don't remember fucking
just
anything,
give or take 200 grams. Okay, so there's 200 grams. Now we're going to stir this up so it's well mixed. Don't worry, after this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to feed your starter. So we're going to mix this up. So the starter and the water is incorporated nicely. Okay, now we are going to do, we're going to 0 our scale out again. And we're going to take our bread flour. I like King Arthur's bread flour. It is 12.7% protein content. You want a high protein content for making bread. So that's that. Okay, so we're going to put in 1,000 grams. Make sure nothing's touching your scale because obviously that's going to mess it up. Okay, that's a little over 1,000, so I'm going to take a little away. 1,000 grams, right there. Now I'm going to 0 out my scale again. And now we're going to add 24 grams of salt. I use a pink salt. 24 grams. Okay. Now we're done with our scale, so I'm going to remove that out from underneath. You're going to take your dough whisk. This is our dough whisk. Okay, and you're going to stir it together loosely. You're just incorporating it. It's going to be, I think they call it a saggy wet dough. You get your nice saggy wet dough. It should not be like pancake batter, and it's a sticky shit show. So thicker than pancake batter. You don't really have to knead sourdough bread, which is really nice. Not that much work. So you just want it to be incorporated. So remember that that weird plastic flat thing I gave you? That's what we're going to need next. It's a dough scraper. So you're pretty much done with your dough whisk. We're going to get out our plastic scraper thing. You're going to scrape the sides down and kind of pull up. Okay. Get all the shit from the sides. Now you're done. So you're barely doing anything to it. So now we're going to cover it with saran wrap, or if you have like a silicone baking thing, I'll put that over the top of mine just so I don't have to waste the saran wrap. And plastic's bad, but saran wrap works just fine. Save your dough scraper out though, don't wash it yet, because you're going to be using this every hour for the next 4 hours to stretch and pull it. You don't have to do that. So you have two choices. You can just leave it like this, cover it, let it sit overnight, and then you can dump it out, cut it in half, make your 2 loaves of bread. Or you can do the stretch and pull method, which I like to do. I feel like you get a better rise out of it that way. So I'm going to show you that way first. So we're going to cover it and we're going to ignore it for an hour. Like this thing. I'll just put that over it so it doesn't dry out. Okay? I will be back. Okay. Hi, we're back. We're going to do our first stretch and pull. It's probably only been 20 minutes. But that's okay. So we're just going to pull on the sides and pull it up. Okay, you want to do it, each time you do this, you want to do it about 20 times. Once the dough gets more put together, we'll be doing this with our hands instead of the spatula. But in the beginning, the spatula makes it easier. So you're not like pinching it hard, you're just loosely grabbing it. You don't want to break the dough either. You don't want to stretch it so far that it rips. Just nice and gentle. Alright, now we need to leave it alone. Cover it back up and let it sit. We'll be back in an hour. Alright, I'm back. It's been about an hour-ish. I'm going to pull the sides some more. It's called stretch and pull. You'll notice your dough is getting much more elastic. I'm going to go with my fingers now. It's soft and supple. Remember, you don't want to rip it. You just want to stretch it and pull it. I'm going to do this 20 times. You're going to do this about 4 times before you bake. Well, before you let it sit longer. If you do it 4 times, then you let it like double in size. back up. Okay, we're back for another stretch and pull. See how like expanded it's gotten and how like nice it is? Okay, so we're going to do it some more. You don't even need this anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You'll feel towards the time you get to like 20, I'm like on 18 right now, it gets harder to pull and stretch. That's how you know you're getting to the end. But you'll notice how much smoother the dough is. And this is all the kneading that's required.
Good job, Mommy.
Thanks, Paisley. Okay. Now we let it rest again. So that was the third time. So after this fourth time, when I come back again, then we're going to just let it rest for a couple hours. And then we're going to put it in our baskets. Okay. Okay, I'm back. This is the fourth, what's the word? Stretch and pull. Okay, ready? Go to the side. It's a little sticky. See how fluffy it is? So this is putting air into it to help it be nice and fluffy. Like I said, this is a process. This is one way to make it. You don't have to make it this way. You can do the other way where you literally just make that loose, saggy, wet dough and then you leave it overnight and then you roll it out. And I'll put it in the directions when I make the video. Okay, see how it's not sticking anymore? It's about done. Just stretch some pulls. Okay, we're gonna let it cover. And now we're gonna let it sit till it like about doubles in size. Okay, all done. Okay, we're back, and now you'll see the bread has doubled in size. Okay, now we're going to scrape it out onto our work surface. We are going to put a little flour down. And we're going to divide it up and then we're going to put it in the proofing baskets. Okay. So this is where this scraper comes in handy because you don't want to tear the dough because it's been working hard to become wonderful. Now you're going to put a little flour. We're going to cut it in half because this recipe is for 2 loaves of bread. So obviously, if you only want to make 1 loaf of bread, we're going to cut this recipe in half. But do this. So the flour there helps give you a clean cut. You're going to fold it in half. Well, I should say in thirds. And then you're going to turn it, and you're going to fold it in half again. Okay. And then you're going to form a ball, very gently. Okay. Once you get it together, you're going to do it to the other side, the other bread loaf. Sorry, I can't talk. And you're going to fold this in half. This is a weird chunk that came off of something. Okay, now here's how we shape it. I have a round basket and I have an oval basket. So you just kind of drag it and pull it towards you. And it stretches it. You'll see all these air bubbles, those are good. It's going to make your dough nice and airy. This will be nice and smooth and beautiful. No effort really is made. You're just cupping it and dragging it towards you. Turning it, cupping it, dragging it towards you. Not to sound like perverted, but it like feels like a squishy boob almost. It's like not too dense, not too soft. Okay, and then you're going to prep your proofing basket. Make sure there's nothing in it. Sometimes I'll take seeds, like, for instance, this everything bagel seasoning is pretty amazing, and I'll sprinkle that all over the proofing basket, and then the bread will be seeded. It's pretty good. So you're gonna flour it pretty heavily so it doesn't stick. The first time you put flour in your proofing basket, you want to like mist it with water so the flour sticks to it, because you want it to be nice and heavily coated. So then you're going to flip this over, seam side up, and put in your basket. Now here's my other proofing basket. I have an oval one. Just do the flour. Just roll that around. And now we're going to shape this one into an oval. So pull towards you, do a little bit in each direction, and then a little bit more flour. And then let's do this way again. Pop those bubbles if you want. I think they're fun. So feel how it's like a weird, you'll see when you do it, it's a good feeling how it feels. And we're going to flip it over, seam side up. Then you just want to do this. So then what I do is I get, okay, so we've got two options. We can either put these in the refrigerator overnight until you're ready to bake them in the morning. Since it's 10:40 at night, I'm not going to bake them tonight. Or if you're ready to bake them tonight, then you're going to cover them with plastic bags still and let them proof for another hour to 2 hours in the proofing basket while you're preheating your oven to 500 degrees. But I'm going to put them in the refrigerator overnight because I'm not going to stay up that late to bake. Jacob, can you hand me 2 plastic bags just so I don't show my ass to them on camera?
Why don't you just wear fucking pants before you start a goddamn...
I didn't realize it until I started it. Thank you. That's it. I just need 2. Thank you, honey. Alright. So, grocery bag works fine. Put it in the bag. Tie it off. And then stick these in the refrigerator. I think it said you can do it for up to 18 hours, but I'll just bake them in the morning after I get back from the gym. Okay, good to go. Okay, good morning, I'm back. Just got done with my morning workout. So here we go. This is overnight proof in the refrigerator. So see how much bigger it's gotten? This one didn't proof as much, probably because I didn't have as much, but there's your overnight proof. So I just turned my oven on to 500 to preheat. I'm going to let these sit out at room temperature. I'm going to cover them back up, but you want to pull it away from the sides a little so it doesn't stick when you dump it out.
There's a bubble in it.
Don't touch it.
I want to pop a bubble.
No, leave it alone. It's Mommy's bread bubble. Okay? Don't mess with it.
Bubble. I'm going to pop it.
I'm on camera, Fraser. Quit it with your grimy mitts. Okay, and then we're going to pull this one away from the sides a little bit.
Pop.
Okay, I'm gonna just cover these up loosely. Fraser,
I
quit
want
it.
to pop it. I want to pop a bubble. I want to pop a bubble.
Stop touching them now.
Ah.
Okay, oven set at 500. It's preheating. I'm gonna go take a shower, and I'm gonna show you how to flip it out, score it, and stick it in the pot. Okay, now it's time to put it in the pot. I'm going to do the oval one first. So this is where it's very important. You must have parchment paper. Really makes a difference. You don't want it to stick, and this makes it so it doesn't stick. Okay. Even though your pot is an enamel and that's supposed to not be stick, you don't want it to stick. So parchment paper is your friend. Okay. So now I'm going to pull it from the sides again, just ever so gently. You don't want to finger it too much. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is the bad part. It usually only does this when I refrigerate it, but there we go. All good. Okay, so then I just usually give it a nice little rub. Okay, just so it's not too much flour. And then you are going to take your lame. I don't know how to say it. Lame. You're going to slice it down the middle. It's supposed to go like 1/4 inch deep. This is what makes your bread pretty. Okay. And then, I don't know, there's a whole art and design to making designs on your bread. If you want to get into that, you can Google that shit. But I usually just do big one down the middle and then 2 on the sides. Then I take my poor little broken pot and you're going to lift it up. Drop her in. This is a German roasting pot. I found that was kind of cool, so I had to get it. See, it's got leftover seeds from when I did the seeded bread on it. And then this lid, you soak in the water of this particular pot. So now I put that on top, and I'm going to stick that one in the oven. I had the oven preheated at 500 degrees. So that's one loaf. Now we're on to the next loaf. So we're going to take our round loaf, unplastic it. Fingers crossed this doesn't stick. Okay, I'm going to pull it from the sides a little bit. I'm recording. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Get some clothes on.
Little rub.
Get the wet shorts off.
For the round one,
Clothes on. What do you want mommy for?
I cut it in
She's making a movie. I'm right here.
about 1/4 inch deep. I just usually do an X. There's all different styles that you can do. Like I've done a spiral that's kind of cool. And then I slice little slits. This is the reason why you slice your bread is, or you score it, I guess what you would call this, is to help it release the air so you don't have a bunch of bubbles. Now let me bring my pot, my Dutch oven. I never wash this thing because I only use it for bread, and I always use parchment paper, so it's never gross. And you drop that in, put the lid on, and we're gonna put that in the oven. Excuse me, honey. And we are baking it for 25 minutes. You see me? Nope. So we bake it for 25 minutes with the lid on, and then we're going to lower the temperature to 445 and bake it for another 20 minutes without the lid on. And you're done. So this is after the 25 minutes. Now we're taking the lid off, and another 20 minutes at 445. Okay, so I just dumped this out of the oven. It was hot. I can't really do it on camera. So here is loaf number 1. Loaf number 2. Beautiful, beautiful bread. Okay.